Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fam 2 Cents video. Today we are making fried chicken and we're going to keep it very simple. Nothing too fancy here, so go ahead and season your chicken with seasoned salt. We're going to use some garlic salt. There's cayenne pepper in there and some onion powder and regular pepper. As I said, nothing too fancy. You guys know I like a little spice in my food, so business as usual. And go ahead and give that a nice little stir. Get that seasoning evenly distributed, so that way you'll have 2 layers of flavor, because we're going to season the chicken, but we're also going to season the flour. A thing that some people often forget to do, but this will definitely ensure that not only the chicken itself is seasoned and flavorful, but also the breading on the outside is. So for the flour mixture, it's very simple: salt, pepper, paprika, and the reason I do paprika instead of cayenne, because it gives you more flavor than spice, which is what I'm looking for. There's already spiciness on the chicken itself, so no need to kind of go overboard with that, unless you want it to be even more spicy. Then that's completely up to you. But salt, pepper, and paprika is usually perfect for your flour mixture. Now obviously we're gonna do some eggs. I've already cracked the eggs and you're going to stir that up. I add a little milk to my eggs. You'll see me add some milk. And this time I decided to add a little hot sauce to the egg mixture. Just because, to be honest. It's something I've seen somebody do before and I've always wanted to try it. So I gave it a shot this time around. Whether or not it made a huge difference as far as flavor goes, I'm not really sure. Didn't really seem like it did, but whatever. I like hot sauce. So basically what we're gonna do is, depending on the size of your bowl or whatever, you're gonna take your chicken. I did mention these are thighs, correct? Yeah, these are thighs, and we put them into the egg mixture, and then right into the flour. You drip off the excess egg, get that stuff off there, and then dump it right in. And we do this 3 at a time. And I like to use the put the lid on and shake it method, as opposed to kind of tossing it around with your hands, because I do not like flour and shit all over my hands. I'm not a fan of that at all. So what I've opted to do is just toss a lid on there and just toss it around that way. It makes it a little easier, so you don't have to wash your hands like every 5 minutes. You give that a really good shake. Make sure that the flour is as evenly distributed as possible. And one of the questions I always get is, how do I make the chicken look so crispy? Well, one of the easiest ways to do it, once you put the flour on there, is you put it on a plate or a pan or whatever it is you have, and you allow it to sit room temperature for a while. And this allows the moisture in the chicken to kind of pull in the flour, and it gives it a chance to really stick to it. So usually what happens is people will, they'll flour and they'll put the egg mixture on their chicken, and then they'll toss it right into the skillet. And what'll happen is you'll literally see all the flour just disperse from the chicken. It'll just kind of separate the moment you put it into the grease. That is what you do not want to happen. You don't want that to happen when you're cooking chicken, because first of all, most of the time that grease becomes unusable at that point, because you have a nice thick layer of pretty much burnt flour at the bottom. It's just a bad time. So spend a little time and let these sit at room temperature, and allow that flour to really stick to your chicken. And sometimes people will double egg and flour them again. I do not like doing that. I see lots of people do it, professional chefs and all that stuff. I don't like doing it. My chicken never comes out right or the way that I like it when I double it. So I mean, if that's what you want to do, that is totally fine. But I cannot. I don't do that, and I don't like to do it. So completely up to you. Your distribution of the flour and stuff is. I'll leave that at your discretion. So as I said here, if you look, after this is sat at room temperature, you watch me drop it in there. Not a lot of the flour is like dispersing from the chicken, which is what you want. You want it to just drop in, and you want it to be able to fry without losing its texture. Now I have this on medium-high heat, and one of the things that you really want to do when you're frying chicken is leave it alone. Like, allow it to kind of do its thing, or at least that's what I do. Some people like to flip it constantly or whatever, but I leave it alone, and I allow it to cook for a decent amount on one side, probably about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on if you're cooking on medium or medium high, and just let it do its thing. And what you'll notice is you'll come back, especially if it is indeed completely submerged, because I guess if it's not submerged, you might want to do a little flipping or whatever, but if it's completely submerged the way mine is, you just leave it alone and you allow it to do its thing, and you come back maybe, like I said, 5 to 10 minutes to give it a nice little flip and allow the other side to cook properly. As you can see from this clip, I've only flipped the chicken over once. And if you take a close look, you'll see that the distribution there of the browning is very even. It's not like, you know, all over the place, because I haven't been like flipping it over and stuff. Let it cook on one side, flip it over, let it cook on the other for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you should be good to go. Like I said, your times may vary depending on if you're cooking it on medium high or high, but obviously you don't want to have your oil too hot, but you don't want to have to wait all day to be able to eat it. And after it's all said and done, you should be left with this, some good homemade fried chicken cooked very simply. There are lots of other complicated things you can do to try to enhance the flavor and all that stuff. I don't like to do all that stuff. I like to keep it simple, keep it very straightforward. But before this video ends, I'd like to mention one more thing. Some people were requesting that I start putting actual direct measurements of exactly how much I used, as far as seasonings and stuff are concerned. I'm going to attempt to do that, to give you guys maybe a measurement, as opposed to you just watching me put it in, because as you can see, I don't really measure. It's measuring isn't really my thing. Just kind of go by eye or smell a lot of times when I'm seasoning things. But I will attempt to try to put forth some sort of exact measurement ingredient list for you guys, either in the description or when I post the videos separately on other places, so you guys can check that out. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit that like button if you like this video. The nation is growing. We're almost up to 250 subscribers. I'd like to get us to 300 as soon as possible. So if you guys are enjoying these videos, subscribing to the channel is one of the best things you guys can do to support me, and I'll greatly appreciate it. So thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll see you guys on the next one.